The use of good quality visuals can add interest to your presentation and increase retention of information. However, if not done properly, visuals and sound effects can distract and even annoy your audience. What's great about PowerPoint is that it can break down information into smaller, more manageable pieces. It can also clarify complex information with simple visuals like graphs, charts, tables, and images. It's important to mind, though, that PowerPoint slides are not meant to take the place of content. They are meant to supplement and enrich the presentation. In any good presentation, the presenter does the presenting, and the audio-visual aids do the aiding. Today we're going to talk about PowerPointers for visual communications and good organization. The three key components are consistency, preparation, and a narrow focus. Use consistent organization so that your audience knows what to expect. Consider giving an overview after the title slide and a summary at the end of the presentation. Try to provide a heading or title for each slide and insert a title layout slide to introduce subtopics, especially if your PowerPoint presentation is long. You want to break up your subtopics into chunks, and you indicate those subtopics with a title slide. For best results, gather any research and outline your ideas first. If there's a corresponding paper that you'll be submitting, be sure to do that first as well. Then you'll be able to break up the information you present into small chunks. At minimum, each chunk will be one main point on one separate slide. This goes with content. You want to keep it simple. The fewer words, the better on each slide. Use several simple slides instead of one complex slide. Remember, it will take the same amount of time to speak the information no matter how many slides there are. Limit each slide to a maximum of 20 to 25 words, but overall try for much less per slide. At most, have no more than 6 lines of text with no more than 4 words in each line, or 4 lines of text with no more than 6 words in each line. That's a total of 24 words per slide. Font choices will make a difference in readability for your audience. You want to design your presentation for the person in the last row. For an audience of about 30 people, headlines and titles should be at least 36-point font size. Your first line most often will be a bullet point, should be 32-point font. A subline should be 28-point font. Simply avoid using third points and fourth points or below. You also want to try to use sans serif fonts like Arial. They don't have the little extra ticks on the edges of the letters like Times New Roman, and they're much easier to read in an electronic format. In any case, no matter which font you choose, consistency is important, and using more than 2 different font types should be avoided. Another issue with readability is color. Good contrast between background color and text color is important for readability. Good background colors are dark blue, green, and black, and white and yellow provides excellent contrasting colors for the text. The reverse, using a light background with dark text, works well too. Definitely avoid certain color combinations because they are particularly hard to differentiate for some people. Brown with green, blue with black, blue with purple, and red-green should be avoided in charts, graphs, and background text combinations. Also, avoid overly bright or intense colors. You don't want to hurt your audience's eyes. Maintain a consistent color scheme, using 2 main colors with other colors very sparingly for emphasis. Images and sounds can be very helpful. And you'll notice that I've made a mistake and I've kept my sound going, so it's kind of interrupting my speech. So try to avoid that. Using images and pictures that are pertinent to the information can really add emphasis to your presentation overall. They should support the message and not distract from it, much like my sound recording just did. Try to use one consistent type of image throughout your entire presentation. If you use photos in one slide, use photos throughout, or drawings throughout, or cartoons without. Try not to mix them up too much. Ensure that images are large enough to be seen from that back row and that the quality is good. Try placing images in varying location and at random intervals. Be sure they don't interfere with any text. Use sound very sparingly and appropriately. Occasional sounds can draw attention to an important point, but overuse can annoy your audience. Make sure the sound is loud enough to be heard, but not so loud that it hurts. Moving on to graphs and charts, you want to keep the data in graphs and charts simple. Delete the grid lines or legends or keys, for they are very distracting. Make words horizontal so that they can be read, and delete data points. Place the subject next to the appropriate piece of the chart and provide enough information to identify what the chart represents, but keep the specifics for the speech itself and the handouts. Be sure to cite your sources with your charts and images if they are not your own creation. Transitions and animations are very fun to play with, but you don't want to go crazy with the movement. Try to use transitions and animations that cause text to appear already in place. Such animations include dissolve, appear, and box in. Use transitions and builds that fly, move, swipe sparingly. Can you imagine that line flying in for each line of text? You would make your audience quite dizzy quite quickly. And being dizzy is bad. Dizzy equals bad. So to sum up, you and your message are more important than the technology. And your audience is even more important than you. So be sure to keep your audience in mind at all times, and be sure that your message is the most important part of your presentation. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you have gained some information about visual communications when presenting, especially with PowerPoint.